All right, let's go. So, welcome to a new episode of eCom Reality, where we talk all things e-commerce, Shopify, Meta Ads, Google Ads, CRO, email marketing, whatever is necessary to grow an e-commerce brand. So, in this one, I want to talk about time invested and the fact that usually the more time you invest, of course, the better results you are likely to have. It doesn't guarantee that, but at the same time, it's a good indicator. And let me tell you why. I think I'll probably name this video something along the lines of 40 hours a week is just an entry ticket, just the entry barrier. And I say that because many times you'll see videos about make 10K a month and all of that, And the thing is that 10K a month actually, if when you think about it or when you get to it, is basically super easy. But it's super easy after you've invested almost all the time in the world into your business, skill, team, whatever you did in order to get to that level, And then to some extent, what gets you to 10K usually kind of gets you to 20K, maybe even 30K. After that, I would say, as you might even hear a lot of people say, it's more about leverage because 10, 20, 40K basically gets you, even if you're an entrepreneur, it gets you to, let's say, developer salary for Meta, Google, right? So that's where it's still mostly about the skill. If you want to get past that, so $500,000 net profit, 1 million net profit, right? That's when it's not just skill, it's more than that. And the thing is that you do have to invest time in order to get a skill. So that's why 40 hours a week will get you in most cases average results. There are some exceptions here and there, but personally, I invested, let's say, 80 hours a week or so, right? And this doesn't mean like hard work, right? Because that's the thing. When you work online, it's totally different than when you work, let's say, in an office, right? Because in an office, or let's say even physical labor, like building a house, right? It's different. It's totally different. It's more about the time you invest, right? While when you work mentally, it's a mix of art and science, meaning that, for example, science means that, all right, if you do this, this happens, it's like very A, B, C, D. And then you also have the art, right? Which is more creative, where, for example, there are multiple ways to teach someone how to do something, right? Right now, actually, I'm training someone to be, let's say, myself to some extent, like you usually start this role as like let's say a marketing assistant or VA, right? Virtual assistant, that's the usual name. But my plan is actually to have her be, let's say, an all-around marketer, meaning that I would want her to know how to launch ads, how to analyze data, how to do Facebook ads, Google ads, Klaviyo, and basically even probably more of a leadership role in the future, And the question is, how do I actually get her to that level, right? First of all, it will take time, but second, it also depends a lot on the training that I give, right? So this is where it's actually more so about creativity, because I will try to teach in multiple ways. I will try to teach by actually letting that person do things, by also drawing things, so visual, by probably also watching YouTube videos here and there, because I will want to actually see what's the best way to teach for that specific person. And this is why personalization never goes out of style. That's why some companies can actually charge a premium. Even my agency, right? Like, it's not the most expensive, it's not the cheapest, but it is to some extent, let's say, at least medium priced, right? Meaning that I don't charge 30K, but I also don't charge like 2K, So there are different ways to go about it. And usually it is based on like value, right? Because I would say in most cases, if someone makes 100K net profit, right? Of course you could charge 10K because it's around 10%, right? and maybe without you they would make 90K. So it wouldn't even make sense to pay someone 5K when they could pay you 10K, and they would still make more in net profit, you know? So this is where I'm doing a lot of mental gymnastics. This is why I would say 40 hours is not enough if you actually want to think a lot in general. Probably I do overwork because I kind of like it, and also I'm inefficient, you know? So I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I don't have the highest IQ or anything, so I do need to actually put more time in. But eventually you get the results. Eventually you get the results if you invest more time, you know? So for example, I'm working with a lot of people from, let's say, Asia in most cases, although I would say Philippines is one of my favorite countries just because the talent there is amazing. Like even in my country, I don't think I would find as much talent, you know? Like the chances of finding someone good there is super high, and mostly because of their attitude. Like you can't really teach attitude, you know? For example, I could teach someone from the Philippines, in my opinion, way easier, way faster than someone from the US sometimes, you know? Just because, for example, in the US, there's too much comfort, right? So you don't even have that motivation. That's why usually I just look for motivation, because I mean, I know that's how I am. Like I've been motivated to achieve things because I've started like from zero, right? More or less. Definitely not the worst of childhoods, but also not necessarily the best. So have enough, let's say, background there to have a reason to be motivated, which is always good, right? I mean, you do need to know why you're actually like overworking to some extent, right? Because you might be doing it for fun. For example, for me, it's actually enjoyable. It's enjoyable to make more money, so I can basically have more peace of mind for myself, more peace of mind for the people around me, because they also know that I can help if necessary, or it's more like a safety net, right? I would rather not need to ever help someone like monetarily, because I think the best help is more so the mindset stuff, right? Like you can't really give someone like $1,000 every month, but you could actually teach them a skill. I'm seeing a cat around here, just got distracted, but you can teach them a skill that would basically guarantee, let's say, $1,000 or more, right? So that's why I wanted to touch on this subject. This is something that's on my mind right now, that 40 hours a week, you know, because I also do a lot of like interviews on Upwork, right? You never know when you find good talent. Good talent in most cases just means honestly like nothing special in terms of IQ. Sorry? All right, so I don't know what the guy was saying. But what I wanted to say was that I just got like derailed here. But what I want to say is that sometimes finding talent is more so about the attitude, because you don't need some kind of amazing IQ, you know, like just as an example, when you have a higher IQ, let's say you're more intelligent on paper, it probably means you kind of overthink, because you think of so many different scenarios. And I would say intelligence is also tied to how many like dots you can connect, right? For example, I'm aware that someone like Elon Musk can connect way more dots than me, you know, which is normal. He has more data points, he has more experience, he's done way more in terms of responsibility of decisions and so on, problems, the magnitude of problems, you know. But coming back to why you would probably want to actually work more is that if you found something that you actually like, why wouldn't you work more? You know, that's probably a question that you should ask yourself. You know, like if you actually do something that you like, right, then of course you'll work more. But the question is that, for example, if you don't do something that you like, probably I would say that you could think, why are you even doing it? You know, like why aren't you doing something that you enjoy more? Because if you enjoy it more, you'll just have an easier time. You will actually enjoy doing it, you know, and that just comes with more financial success, time freedom, because you actually spend your time how you like to some extent. You work because you want to, you work because you like it. But yeah, I mean, this could go in many directions here. This subject of working, deciding what to work on, because I would say we have way too many options nowadays. So it's super easy to actually get derailed or distracted by some shiny things. Sometimes I would say, same with me actually. But I would say we can pretty much wrap it up for this one. It's around 11 minutes as always. It's a nice Sunday today, good weather, summer. But this is when you can like think more and not necessarily do more, because sometimes you have to think about what you'll do, right? That's why 40 hours, in my opinion, just to wrap it up here, is not enough. Because if you just like use a hammer for 40 hours, sometimes you don't have any hour left to think, why am I even hitting, you know, like with a hammer right now? Should I do that? And sometimes the answer is no, you shouldn't, or you should at different times. So multiple variables. Anyway, not to get too much into the nitty-gritty here, but that's it for this one. If you enjoyed it, you can leave a like, comment. If you haven't watched some of the previous ones, there are more than enough videos of me yapping around while walking and making sure I'm also healthy. Hope you do the same, and until next time, peace out.